24th verse. All right. Matthew 16, meet me at the 24th verse. All right, we're going to go through just a few verses. God has put something on my heart that I believe I need to impart into yours. And I think it's relevant to the times that we live in. And I think the things that we're going through, I think this word is going to help you understand what is expected of you and your expectation of God relative to how he is, I believe, demonstrating so many things to us, and I don't want you to miss it, because I believe a lot of what is going on at this point is really the revelation of the nature of God and how he deals with what he has created in this earth, and his longing for us to be a part of his plan, not our plan, but his plan, whether it looks good, whether it looks bad. I believe that God is up to something, and I think this text is going to help us understand that. All right. Now, I want you to see this because I'm going to give you a little cross training this morning. I want to give you some cross training this morning. All right. We're going to talk about cross training. I'm going to give you some cross training this morning. So when you see this text, when it says, then Jesus, now I'm reading out of the New King James Version. When it says, then Jesus said to his disciples, when you see any text that mentions Jesus saying anything, I think it's worth us elaborating on it just for a minute. Elaborate because I like to educate. Elaboration equates to education, right? So please note who's speaking. Please note who's speaking and who is being spoken to, right? So Jesus is speaking, and he is speaking to, get this, his disciples. He is specifically talking to his disciples, right? So Jesus is speaking to his disciples. Keep that in mind. All right, so Jesus is speaking, his disciples are listening to what he is saying. That's very important, right? So his disciples, when I say his disciples, meaning they belong to him, right? They belong to him. They do not belong to or own themselves, right? So they are listening to Jesus with the understanding that they belong to Jesus. Now, this is something that we have to settle right now. I want to talk to those who know that you belong to him. I want you to indicate that to me. And indicate that for your own understanding. Indicate that to you. Indicate that to your problems. Indicate that to your issues. Indicate that to your doubt. I want you to know the reason why he speaks to me is because I belong to him. Now, you may not understand what he is saying. That's because you don't know the language or the intent of his verbalization to me, because if you don't belong to him, you'll never understand why he says the things he says to me, right? So if I can't belong to him and he doesn't speak to me, right? So let's settle that right now. Is God speaking to people that belongs to him? Because we got to get that together right now, because if you don't belong to him, there are some things you won't understand when it comes to the things that he says to you, right? So I see you on Facebook Live. I see you. I mean, confirming that you know who you belong to. That means if you belong to him, you don't belong to yourself. You don't own yourself. That's good. I see you. I belong to Jesus. And you have to tell everything Tell everything around you that it's going to be okay because I know who I belong to. And because I belong to him, he talks to me like I belong to him. He cares for me like I belong to him. He covers me like I belong to him. So that understanding must be solid, that I belong to him and I don't belong to myself, right? Okay? So this is why, hear me good, everyone, hear me good. This is why discipleship is crucial to the development of your relationship with Jesus, because it reminds you that you don't belong to yourself, you belong to him, right? Okay? So it's not speaking against membership, okay? And membership as it relates to your membership, for towards a church, your membership in a church, right? But your membership is about belonging to a church, but discipleship is about belonging to Jesus. I'm going to say that again. Membership is about belonging to a church, but discipleship is about belonging to Jesus. So when you join a church, you must be taught how to follow Jesus, right? Because that's basically what a disciple is. It's one who is a student or pupil or learner for the sole purpose of following Jesus, right? So I am the leader pastorally of the MastersChild Church, right? So as a leader of disciples, of the disciples of Christ, I am the leader, but the disciples don't belong to me. I wish I had somebody here. I'm the bishop, but the disciples do not belong to me, right? So as a leader of the disciples of Jesus, I must admonish them to follow me as I follow Christ, right? Okay? And that's what Paul said. That's the attitude of every leader that God placed within his church. To lead his disciples, I must admonish and I must admit that, listen, I need you to follow me as I follow Jesus. The moment you discern that I'm not following Jesus, don't follow me. And I don't care who that individual is. You don't follow anybody that's not following Jesus, right? Even me, Melvin Robinson Jr., if you can detect that Bishop has fallen off, don't follow me, follow Jesus. As long as I'm following Jesus, you can follow me, right? Okay? So who is this fellowship, okay, for? Who is this discipleship for? Okay, who can really be a part of this fellowship, or who can be a part of this discipleship? And Jesus emphatically answers that. He says, if anyone. If anyone. That's inclusivity. If anyone. If anyone. Anyone can be a part of this fellowship. Anyone can be a part of this discipleship. And I'm so glad I'm a part of the anyone. That means you can't exclude me out of something that's offered to everybody. So everybody that's a part of the fellowship, everybody's a part of the discipleship. I want you to know that they didn't, listen, they didn't bring you in and they can't kick you out. I wish I had somebody here. Nobody can qualify you because they couldn't qualify themselves. Okay, so if Jesus is offering you an opportunity to be a part of his fellowship or his discipleship, that means nobody can deny you access. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Don't allow somebody to have that kind of power over your life. If anybody, if anyone. Okay, so anyone who is listening to me right now, you have the right to be a part of this fellowship and this discipleship. But there's one issue with this, because he says, if anyone desires. Now that changes the whole dynamic, right? So he says this is about inclusivity, but all you need is a desire to do so. And that's what the enemy is after, even throughout this whole pandemic and this whole crisis. The enemy is trying to kill your desire. He's trying to terminate your desire. He said, because he knows anyone can be a part of the discipleship or the fellowship of Jesus, but you have to have a desire, okay? And this is when the numbers go down. Because anyone represents a big old number of people, right? That's everyone. But the numbers go down when it comes to having a desire, right? So you can be a part, but you have to have a desire, right? So anyone can do this. Anyone can be a part of the fellowship. Anyone can be a part of the discipleship, okay? But everyone does not have a desire to do so. So in the midst of what you've been going through and you still have a desire, you need to thank God right now. You still have a desire to serve and worship and honor and praise God. That means the enemy has not won, because you still have your desire. Still have your desire. You see? So don't allow what you're going through to quench your desire, because your desire is the thing that causes you to come into the full experience of what it means to be a disciple or a follower of Jesus. So Jesus says it takes a desire to come after me, right? He says, so if anyone desires to come after me, hear me good, after me. He says, now Jesus says it takes a desire to come after me. Jesus says, I must be pursued for no other purpose besides the fact that you desire me. That you desire me. And if this is any man or woman's desire, let that person, right, deny themselves. You got to get this. He says your only desire can be me. That's it. That's it. Okay? So if you desire to pursue me, then your only desire can be me. But if you desire me, you have to deny yourself. So Jesus says, if you desire me, you must deny you. I'm going to say that again. If you desire me, Jesus says, you must deny you. So he says, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself. So not only should I have desire, but I have to deny me in order to desire him. Right? He says, so Jesus said, if you desire me, you must deny you. And that's when the struggle comes in. Because Jesus is saying that it's all right to pursue me, but I have to be your number one desire. And in order for you to desire me, you must deny you. Right? So self-interest cannot be your motivation or purpose for following Jesus. I hope you're getting this. Self-interest cannot be your motivation or purpose for following Jesus, right? Because see, this is the reason. For your only purpose for following Jesus is that you desire him, which means Jesus is saying self-interest dilutes purpose. I want somebody to type that. Self-interest dilutes his purpose. I want to say that again. Self-interest dilutes his purpose. And the worst thing you can have is a diluted purpose. It's almost having a diluted soda. You know, when you buy ginger ale, you want it to be real strong. You want it to be real strong. It's nothing like a real strong ginger ale, a real cold one. But if you put some water in that thing, it's going to go flat. It's going to go flat. Nothing like a strong Sprite. You ever had a Sprite that when you open it, when you open it, you heard a little sound, a little wind come out of that kind of, oh, it's strong. It's strong. But if you add some water to it, it's going to dilute its strength, right? So that's how purpose is. Self-interest dilutes his purpose, right? So you have to hear me now. Self-denial is not discretionary. It's a duty. Are you hearing me? I said self-denial is not discretionary. You don't do it if you want to, or you. That's not, optional. Self-denial is not discretionary. It's a duty. It's a duty. It's my duty to make sure that I'm operating in self-denial, right? Because as Immanuel Kant would say, your purpose is to do the right thing for the right reason or purpose and not based on self-interest. Okay? All right? So it's my duty to operate in self-denial, right? So he says, this is the thing. Well, the question then is, how do I deny self? How do I deny self? Well, Jesus said, okay, if anyone desires to come after me, right, let him deny himself and take up his cross, and then you can follow me, right? So listen what he says. He says, if you desire me, come on, you can pursue me. But let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. So the question is, how do I deny self? You deny self based on the cross. Now I'm going to give you some cross training, right? The cross is the instrument of crucifixion, right? Okay? So you must metaphorically crucify self or the flesh for the resurrection or new birth of a new you. For if any man be in Christ, right, he is a new creature. If you're going to pursue him, you can't pursue him with an old nature, because that old nature is about self, right? It doesn't want to serve the interests of nobody else, right? So you metaphorically have to crucify self or the flesh for the resurrection or new birth of a new you. When Jesus died, right, his flesh remained on the cross. The flesh was dead. We died with him, symbolically, right? So the flesh remained on the cross. The spirit went with God, right? 3 days, he goes into Hades, get the keys from the devil. He comes up Sunday morning saying, I don't have some power in my hand. I have all power in my hands, right? So the crucifixion of the flesh, right, metaphorically, okay, provides the resurrection or new birth of a new you. I want to call it let me call it this, a rebooted you. A rebooted you, right? You shut down, but then you come back stronger, right? You got to shut down that old man, but when you come back stronger. That's a rebooted you, all right? That's what I like to call it, a rebooted you, right? So denying, watch this, okay, my time is up at YCB. Now, YCB, you can come on over to Facebook Live and we'll finish there. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week. God bless. All right, so look, are you guys with me so far? Are you with me so far? All right, here we go. So, you know, you know how we are in our flesh. We like to be booted and suited in terms of how we display the outer man, but your inner man needs to be rebooted. It needs to be rebooted, right? So once, if that's going to take place, right, I want you to know that that's through the crucifixion of your flesh, right, that produces a resurrection or new birth of a new you. All right, so let's walk in that newness, right? So, hear me good, I'm almost closing. Denying yourself of what you want, right? The cravings of your flesh equates to a psychological crucifixion. It's really a mental crucifixion that creates the spiritual discipline needed to follow Jesus. I know I said that quickly, so I want this thing to get in your spirit, right? So when I'm talking about a rebooted you, you know, outside of, being suited and booted in terms of what you're doing outside, because we know how to look real good on the outside, but we need to be rebooted on the inside. And it's okay to look good. There's nothing wrong with that. Do that. I mean, do your thing, Nothing wrong with looking good on the outside and treating yourself good on the outside. Nothing wrong with that. I have no problems with that. But you need to be rebooted on the inside, because your inside is not about suits and boots and, and what we put on the outer. You need an inner rebooting, okay, to produce the new you, right? So denying yourself of what you want, get this, the cravings of your flesh equates to a psychological crucifixion that creates the spiritual discipline needed to follow Jesus, because you have to be disciplined to really follow Jesus. If you're going to follow him, you need discipline. Not only you, I needed to. Any follower of Jesus Christ, if that's your desire, you need discipline. Do anybody know what I'm talking about? Because you can get saved, and if you lack discipline, okay, you're going to struggle, especially in self-denial, because we just want what we want. A lot of what has shaped our lives because we have wanted things that has not been good for who we are on the inside, right? And it's psychological, really. The crucifixion is really mental. It's really a mental crucifixion, like crucifying, all these thoughts that are just toxic, very toxic thoughts that if you follow through is going to have a negative or it's going to have an effect on your life that's not in the best interest of who God's trying to help you evolve into based on his plan, his purpose for your life. Let me put it that way. All right, so we need discipline, right? So watch this. So if we are following Jesus based on what we want him to do for us, watch this. If we're following him based on what we want him to do for us, the motivation for following him then is based on self-interest and not pure desire for him, right? So if we're following him just based on what we want him to do for us all the time, okay, then the motivation for following him then is based on self-interest and not pure desire for him, right? And we talked about how self-interest dilutes purpose. It dilutes purpose. And I used the analogy of a ginger ale. When I used to drink them, when I tell you, if I got a ginger ale and it was weak, I just couldn't drink it. It defeats the purpose. What's the use of me having a weak ginger ale? I might as well drink Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Just give me some Kool-Aid. I'm not going to open no ginger ale and it's weak. That means somebody been playing with shaking it or something. If it's not strong, it's not a ginger ale. I'm trying to tell you that right now. Right? So your purpose should be strong. What's the use having a purpose that's weak? Your purpose shouldn't be weak. Your purpose should be strong. Okay? What weakens purpose is self-interest. Right? It dilutes purpose. Okay, we talked about that. All right? So it's about, let me tell you what this is about. It's about telling yourself no. Can I tell you, I can tell everybody no real quick, except myself. Now I'm talking to, I'm not, don't look at me as bishop or pastor. Look at me as Melvin Robinson Jr. I can tell everybody no real good, but sometimes I struggle telling me no. Ain't that something that we can tell everybody? Don't do that, don't go there, don't do that. And then you get something that you know you craving for and you know you are desiring, and it's about you, yourself, and I, and it's hard to say no. Whew. Lord, help me today. If I only can get that part of my life right, like in moments when I know God is talking to me and saying, no, you know this, don't do it. You see, that's when you know you're saved. When just before you're ready to do something that you know is outside of what you ought to be doing based on the discipline needed to follow Christ, and you start following your cravings and your desires, the Spirit will speak to you and say, don't do it. Don't, I'm telling you, don't go, don't do it, don't engage. And you hear it, and you still can't tell yourself no. And even when you go forward with it, after it's over with whatever that is, you feel so bad. You feel so bad because the Holy Spirit don't make you do anything. It just instructs you as to what you need to do, right? And so you sit after you engage, like what? It's not worth it. Like it's not worth it. I'm trying to tell you, it's just not. And as much as you know it's not worth it, sometimes you still just can't tell yourself no. So it's just a craving. It's a desire. It's a proclivity of the flesh. And it's just letting you know it's just not going to go down like that. You're going to have to make me sit down somewhere. If you don't, listen, if I can negotiate, listen, this is the thing. The flesh will negotiate you out of your commitment to God. Your own flesh, it's not nobody else. Your flesh will talk to you. And say, come on now, it's been a while. Come on, let's go on in. How long shall we wait on this situation here? That ain't nobody. That's your flesh talking to you. You by yourself, and you hearing that ain't nobody. That's you. That's the conversation that your flesh is trying to have with you, so you can compromise your commitment to God. That's all that is. That's it. That's all. And if you can't tell yourself no, you are in trouble. Telling everybody else no, hey, what's up, Banks? Telling everybody else no, that's one thing. That's one thing. But when you can't tell yourself no, you know you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. So today your flesh is going to offer you something that you have to say no to. Practice telling your flesh no. I'm telling you, you'll live. If it's not a matter of life and death, you can live without it. I think God has reduced our life to what it is so you can know that there's some things you can live without. I found out during this coronavirus situation, there's some things I know I can live without now. Oh, you ain't gonna tell me I can't live without it. I've been doing it for the last 2 months. Ain't nobody out there like that. I wish I had 5. You ain't out there like that. No, sir. You ain't out there like that. Not like that? No. You had to get somewhere to sit down and learn to live without some things that your flesh desires, right? So you have to tell yourself no. All right, let me move on past that. I think you got that. I'm elaborating so I can educate, all right? So tell yourself no. Stop telling everybody else no. Tell yourself no. And see how you feel when you make yourself get somewhere to sit down. That's a difficult endeavor, but it's necessary nonetheless, right? All right? So look at 25. I think I got that part across. So 25 says, for whoever desires to save his life, right, will lose it, basically. But whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. That's a lot. That's a lot, right? So let me break that down. In 25, what Jesus is saying, if you hold on or preserve the kind of way of living your life, right? If you preserve or hold on, let me say it real quick, let me say it slowly. The kind of life or the way of life you're living right now, you're going to lose it. I'm going to say it slowly because I'm educating you, all right? Read 25, I'm going to break it down for your interpretation. If you hold on or preserve the way of life you're living right now, you're going to lose it. Right? Then he says, if you release it for Jesus' sake, he said, if you release it for my sake, this is Jesus talking, you will find it. Right? So he said, if you hold on to that kind of lifestyle, you're going to lose your real life, which is really eternal life. It's really the part of you that really represents who you are genuinely, your inner man. You're going to lose that, right? But if you release, your lifestyle, the way that you were living, which if you're saved, you shouldn't be holding on to a lifestyle that you should have let go a long time ago because of a new life in Jesus Christ. But if you hold on to that lifestyle, if you hold on, you're going to lose what it's awaiting you eternally. He said, but if you release that lifestyle, he said, then you'll find that there is a life awaiting you outside of the life that you were once acquainted with. And that's new life in Jesus Christ, a life that never goes away. It's eternal, right? So you have eternal life like right now. You're alive in the physical, but when the physical is no longer in existence, you transition to that life that you found because you release a life that was no longer conducive to the kind of life that you should be living now because of being a follower of Jesus Christ. All right, so you didn't find life until you found him. I wish I had somebody here. You did not find, you were just breathing, but you didn't find life until you found Jesus. Jesus said, I came that you may have life. You didn't have life. You don't have it if you don't have life if you don't have him. You're just breathing. So you find life when you find him. Now, if you want to hold on to that life, the life that you were living, hold on to it, but you're going to lose the life that he has for you. I don't know about you. I'm so glad that I gave up that life. Because when I gave up, I thought I was living. I thought everything was cool. But when I found him, that's when I found my life. Or I got my life when I found him. Right? So he said, hold on to it. You'll lose it. Release it. You'll find it. And I want to talk to 5 people who know that you're so glad that you found your life in Jesus Christ. I found it. And that's why people are so agitated. They are so, unhappy because they're not living. They're trying to live this life when they don't know that if you don't hurry up and make the change and make the switch in terms of coming into a relationship with Jesus Christ, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose the life that Jesus has for you, right? So he said, I came that you may have life, and what? Life more abundantly. That's the kind of life that you have in him once you begin. First, we got to release that lifestyle. Then you connect with him. He gives you life, and that more abundantly, right? Hear me good, right? He said if you release it, he says, if you lose it, if you lose that lifestyle, then you'll find it in me. That's what Jesus said, right? So this is the only positive purpose to be a loser. I thought about that. This is the only positive purpose to be a loser. Think about that, right? I got to lose my life. Listen, when I left a life of sin, don't tell me I wasn't having fun. I thought I was. I was having fun. I'm not talking about, it wasn't miserable to me. People say it was a miserable life of sin. It wasn't that miserable to me. I'm trying to tell you. Let me get on off of that. So the thing is, right, I had to give that up. To find real life in Jesus Christ. So I had to lose it, right? So the only positive thing this is the only positive purpose to be a loser, right? So I want you to type in your comments, lose on purpose. If you're going to lose for a purpose. Lose on purpose. Lose on purpose. Lose for a purpose. Don't be just losing. Don't just lose just to be losing. If you're going to lose, have a reason to lose. Right? Lose on purpose. Lose for a purpose. Lose on purpose. Like, I'm not going to be losing for nothing. If I'm going to lose something, what I'm going to get based on what I'm losing must be better than what I released, right? So lose on purpose. In other words, God has given us a purpose to lose. I don't have 6 people, right? Right? And how big of a loser you are depends on how much of you got to lose. How much of you got to get rid of. How big of a loser you are depends on how much of you got to get rid of. Because you know some of us, you got a whole lot going on. We got a whole lot going on. You don't understand how much it takes for me to lose me. Because I've been doing a lot. I wish I had 2. It's not everybody. Maybe it's me and somebody else. But I'm trying to tell you, there's a whole lot going on right in through here. All up in here, it's a whole lot going on, right? So I know I'm a big loser, probably the biggest loser, all right? Because there's a whole lot going on. And it's not what you see in church. It's not what you see on the pulpit. It's not what you see in the choir stand. I know me. Do I have somebody here who said, I know me? Please understand. It's a whole lot to lose right through in here. A whole lot to lose. Whole lot to lose. I had some stuff going on. Right? So how big of a loser you are depends on how much of you got to get rid of. Like, think about how you think and the things you think about that, right? So that's a lot. That's a lot. You know, the kind of person, you were prior to Christ, that was a whole lot. We had game. Some of you had a lot of game, man. A whole lot of game, a lot of swag. You just had a lot going on, especially with that street mentality, knowing how to maneuver and knowing how to do the thing. You know what I'm talking about. You knew how to do the thing. And quiet as everything kept, you still know how to do it, but you're just under subjection. Don't get me wrong now. Let me get off that part. So this is the thing, right? This is the thing. So how big of a loser you are depends on how much of you got to lose, right? So I want you to type in the comments, following Jesus is duty-based. It's duty-based, right? Following Jesus is duty-based, right? It's duty-based, right? So some people don't understand, would never understand how grateful you are to God if they don't know your journey to Him. Like your journey to Him, your journey to Him, your journey to Him. If they don't know that journey, they would never understand your commitment to Him. I promise you. Never. Never. And I want to thank God for your journeys. Because some of you all, before you found Jesus, you were in some bad situations. And had you stayed there, had you never made a decision to give up that life so you can get new life in Him, I don't know where your life would be, and I don't know where my life would be. So listen, let's stop and celebrate our journeys to Christ. We got here. We didn't get here I was reared in church. So some of you, didn't come up in church, but you found Jesus. Some of you didn't go to Sunday school, but you found Jesus. We get to Jesus various ways. There ain't no one way to get to Jesus. I'm trying to tell you now. Some of you had some rough lives. Nobody, church wasn't a part of your upbringing, but some way, somehow, you found Jesus. I wish I had. Some way, somehow, some way, somehow, your journey led you to Him. And now you see your commitment to Him. You see your allegiance to Him. Matter of fact, you see self-denial as a duty. It's my duty. Because I see where my life was when I was following my own intuition and doing my own thing. It resulted in a mess. I gave up that. That's when I found Him. When I found Him, I found a new life. So following Jesus is duty-based, right? So let me say this to you in closing. Following Jesus is all about motives. That's it. It's about motives, right? It's about motives. Your daily declaration as a follower of Jesus is this: reporting for duty, sir. That's it. Every morning you wake up reporting for duty, sir. Whatever you want me to do, whatever you want me to say, I'm reporting for duty, sir. Wherever you want me to go, if you tell me no, it's no. If you tell me yes, it's yes. If it's right, I'm going right. If it's left, I'm going left. Reporting. Listen, you know, I don't know when we get back to these buildings, but when we walk in these buildings, reporting for duty, sir. Want me to praise you? I'm praising you. You want me to worship you? Worship you. Why? I'm going to worship you. Why? Because it's my duty to do so. It's just my duty. If you never give me another dollar, it's not about the dollar. It's about my desire for you. Everything I'm doing is motivated because I'm pursuing you because I desire to do so. Whatever comes out of that, that's fine. I know you're going to bless me. I know you're going to elevate me. I know, but it's not about that. My duty is really based on my desire for you. I'm reporting for duty, sir. Right? Okay? So let me square something up real quick before I let you go. So don't you know the scripture when it says ask and it shall be given, seek and it shall be found, knock, the door shall be open. I want to talk about that real quickly before I let you go, because I want to break that down. Because I'm not saying that God won't, bless you, and he won't favor you, and he won't, increase you. And I'm not saying that. Our God is a God that knows how to bless. He knows how to elevate. He knows how to favor his people, right? So when you ask, the Bible said it shall be given. Seek and it shall be found. Knock and the door shall be open, right? Okay. So if you never find, if you never get, the door never opens, it's okay, right? Because our desire from this point on is for him, not for what he does, right? So watch this. So anytime you ask Jesus for anything, he will make his will known regarding what you are asking him. Hear me good on this part before I close. So like when you ask, so anytime you ask him, right, anything, if you ask Jesus anything, right, he will make, what he's going to give you, he's going to give you revelation. He's going to make known regarding his will for what you're asking him for, right? What you're asking for may not be in yours or someone else's best interest to receive, right? So when I ask him for something, sometimes, I ask him for something that seems good to me. Like if I get it, it seems good, for me to have it. But Jesus may see something that I don't see. So what he gives you an answer. He gives you an answer. He answers based on what's in, or he allows you to acquire something that's in the best interest of your life. Have you ever asked for something and you got it and you wish you would have never? I wish I had. I think I need 10 people on this. I need 20 on this. Have you ever asked God for something, he gave it to you, and you just allowed it just happen, and you said, God, why? What in? You wish you'd have never received what you asked for. It's teaching you something. It's teaching you that God doesn't give you everything you ask for, because sometimes when you ask for something, you don't know whether it's in your best interest to receive it. And you get it, and next week, then following weeks, God, can you take this back? Can you get this on through? You can have this back. Have you ever had to keep a receipt for one of your prayers? I wish I had somebody here. So I got the receipt and everything. I'm returning. Just like I'm taking something back to Macy's, taking something back to Walmart. I got the receipt on this. I'm glad I kept the receipt. Let me return this real quick to you, God. It's all good. You can have this back, right? So God is teaching you something to let you know that, okay, I'm going to make an example of what it is to receive something when you don't know whether or not it's good for your life. Because just because it seems good, it may not be good. Especially when you're asking for people to come into your life, right? And I believe people have some good. I think there's some good in everyone. You understand what I'm saying? I do. But that good sometimes you don't get the benefit from. Because sometimes people can be good to everybody except you. I don't need nobody on that part. I don't need nobody on that part. Sometimes people they have good in them, but they never give you an opportunity to experience that good. So you see them and you look at it and say, they're nice to everybody. Yeah, but because that goodness is not extended to you. So what's the use having a person in your life when they get all your goodies? I don't have 6 on that part. They get all your goodies. I don't have 6. But no goodness of theirs you are experiencing from. Them, to put them goodie bags up, I wish I had 9 people on that part. Hold them goodies for, let me get on past that. So this is the thing, right? Right? So the thing is, if you ask him for something, right, he's not just going to give it to you. He's going to give you what he feels is best for you. So when you ask God, say, this is what I want, but if it's not your will, if it's not best for me, then I don't want it, because all I'm going to do is return it anyway. I'm actually to get it out of my life, all right? So when you knock, right, let's deal with the knock, okay? So what if he opens the door, right? So he opens the door as a means of using, watch this, that access to effectuate his will in that space. Through you being in the room. Right? Let me say that again. So if he opens the door, if you knock the door open, a door of opportunity, whatever it is, right? He uses, that open door as a means of access to effectuate his will in that space through you being in the room. So God said, when you open the door, so God, this should be a prayer. So God, if you do open up the door and you give me access to the space, what do you want me to do? Like, what is it that you want to do through me, for the effectual, purpose of your will in this space, right? Okay, all right? So every opportunity he gives you, ask God, why did you open up this door? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I know what I need to do in general in terms of what's expected of me generally from others, but what is it that you want to do through me, given that you have provided me this space, right? When he says seek, he said you will find or discover his will. Hear this good. Seek and you will find or discover his will, which gives you what you discovered its purpose. Because everything that you discover has a purpose, and that purpose is rooted in his will. So when you seek, you will find, right? When you seek, you will find or discover his will, which gives what you discover its purpose, right? So don't expect to discover anything from God without understanding its purpose, right? And its purpose is rooted in the will of God. All right? Okay? All right? Right. So, watch this, and I'm closing for real. Look at Matthew 16 and 26, and we're out. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world? I'm going to give you everything. I'll give you the whole world, right? But you lose your own soul. Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? You got to get this. That's my last verse. I'm going to stop right there. I got more, but I'll have you all day on this thing. But this thing, in 26, so he says all that, and then he says, what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul, right? Listen what Jesus is saying. I'm going to break this down. Jesus is saying this. Hear me good. Hear me. Hear me good. I know better. Jesus is saying, I know better than to give you everything you want that's world related. Because if I did, your soul would not survive. Your soul would not survive. Right? He said, that's why I don't give you everything you want that's world related. Right? Because if I did, if I gave you every time you asked, I just gave you everything you want, your soul wouldn't survive. Your soul wouldn't survive. Right? So he says, I make decisions about your life and what I give for your life with your soul in mind. Right? He said, I came here. Jesus, I came in here. He said, when I came to earth, I had your soul in mind. Can I ask you a question? Are you making decisions today with your soul in mind? I think your decisions would be very different if you made decisions with your soul in mind. And this is the thing, right? God is not saying he doesn't want you to experience good things. If you have a nice car, nice house, all that, that's fine. All that is good. But none of it has nothing to do with what your soul is craving for, because your soul has a destination that your car can't take you to. Like your soul has a destination that your house can't take you to. Your soul has a destination that your money can't take you to. Right? You can't go. But enjoy it. I mean, live. I mean, live. God bless you. I mean, live. I mean, if God bless you with material things, I mean, wear it, drive it, have fun. I mean, live your life. Right? But don't forget you have a soul. You have a soul. What's the use having all of that and then you lose your soul? At the end of the day, that stuff ain't going with us. It's going to stay right here. But if my soul has been anchored in Jesus, I know where it's going when it's all over. You know why? I got all that. Thank God for house and land. But the question is it well with your soul? Because if it's well with your soul, then at the end of the day, you are living life and that more abundantly, right? So in closing, he says, or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? So what Jesus is saying, I will not give you anything that will cost you your soul. I will not give you anything that will cost you your soul. Right? So what does that mean? That means I have to be sold out. No, I'm sold out. And can't no car make me give up that attitude. Can't no house. I'll drive it. I'll live in it. I'll have fun. But I'm sold out for him. And my primary motivation for being sold out to God is because I desire him. Him. And how do I get to that place where I desire him? Because I know if I desire him, I have to deny me. How do I deny me? The cross. I have to continue. I have to continue to crucify me. Tell me no. Because I told him yes. Thank you for your time. That's all I had. Hopefully you were edified. Now you got to tune in tomorrow. I got something for you to listen. Don't miss tomorrow. Well, listen, you can't listen. You got to tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I got a word for you tomorrow. Woo. I hope you enjoyed that today. That's right, Denise. Like, well, maybe you need to say that. I'm sold out. Yeah, I'm sold out. My heart is fixed, mind made up. No room for vacancies. I'm all filled up. His spirit lives within me, and that's the reason that I'm sold out. I hope I got them words right. You know, I mess a song up quick. All right, that's it, Alexi. I'm sold out. All right. I love you all. Wasn't Shantae leaked Cherry last night amazing? She was absolutely amazing last night. Boy, shout out to our MCC sister, Shantae Lee Cherry. My goodness. Whew. Yeah. There you go. I see you sold out. Hey, Thomasine, I don't know if I got them lyrics right. I tried to talk it through like Kirk Franklin. I said, I'm gonna do the Kirk Franklin approach to this thing. I'm just gonna talk it out. Talk it out. I did the Kirk Franklin on that one. I didn't sing it. I talked. They said I said if Kirk can do it, I can do it. Somebody say hallelujah. Right? She was absolutely amazing. She showed a strength on that TV screen that was just astonishing. I mean, held herself together so she can get her message across. Right? Amazing. 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 Shantae, well done. Well done. Well done. So proud of you, right? And so we send you love. We send you support. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. We're here for the duration. I think I saw Deacon Lee come up on the live. And if he's on the live, Deacon, love you. Love you. And when you called me yesterday and gave me your update and was saying that you were getting better, you just don't understand. My spirit. I mean, you just gave me when I tell you, you uplifted my spirit in ways that I can't even understand. You can't even understand. I can't even understand. When I heard it, I said, God, I thank you. I thank you for Deacon Lee's recovery. And Dante is doing well. And so let's keep praying for total recovery. Our new member in Ghana, Emmanuel, he came to Christ because of John. John witnessed to him while he was in Ghana, led him to Christ, and he said he wanted to join, and John told him about MCC, right? He wanted to join MCC, but he thought the distance would be an issue. But guess what has resolved that? What we're doing right now. What we're doing right now made him come to the conclusion, yes, I can be a part of this ministry because I'm getting ministry through technology. So I'm in Waldorf, he's in Ghana, but I can still minister to him as his pastor because technology is connecting us together, right? So thank God for John's life. He led Emmanuel to Jesus and MCC.